You're not going to be mining cryptocurrency without access to some pretty powerful hardware capable of undertaking the necessary computations. But you have a number of options available. Let's explain buying first. It's worth noting up front, then, you don't need to build or buy another computer system if you want to mine cryptocurrency. In fact, many people don't. You can, in theory, use what you already have. There's the software you can install on your existing machines that can get you up and running with mining very quickly and cheaply. Software that'll scale with the processing power at your fingertips too, that you can install on any new rig you put together as well. If you do want to own the kit, and if you're really going for it, it can get very expensive. Most people, though, don't take this approach for just that reason. But just to give some flavor to it at the high end. To get a single top-of-the-range dedicated Antminer cryptocurrency ASIC mining machine can set you back north of $1,000, assuming you can find one in stock. The highest-end investors will purchase lots of these, and then will also need to factor in the electricity costs of running them around the clock. Countering that, if you are dabbling, the actual startup costs are modest. You are ultimately in control of the software you use and the machine you use it on. The huge advantage is that what you buy is all yours. And so you can configure your rig how you wish. Crucially, every coin you mine is yours too. But the trick there is to ensure the running costs of your setup in particular. The electricity bill doesn't outweigh the income. You need to keep your eye on the price of coins too, as it's a calculation that's continually in some form of flux. Again, the software can do the heavy lifting work for you here too. As a tangible alternative to buying, you can rent someone else's technology. This mitigates your own exposure and can give you access to mining setups in far more economical areas of the world. After all, local electricity prices tend to be on the expensive side. And many enterprising companies have set up specific operations elsewhere on the planet where prices are lower. A small piece of the powerful crypto farm is likely to be far more effective. You can then, for a fee albeit one far less than you will pay buying the kit yourself, rent some of their processing power. The other notable upside of this is that you require no technical knowledge to get things up and running. The obvious downside is that you have to pay a percentage on the crypto you mine, which varies depending on the cloud provider you select. It's worth noting too that even if you rent your mining processing power, it doesn't come with a guarantee that you'll successfully mine crypto. That said, a small piece of a powerful crypto farm is likely to be far more effective than one or two systems in the corner of the office. If you're mining the most popular coins, 2 Bitcoin in particular, note that it's hugely competitive, given that it's the most valuable cryptocurrency in the market, certainly both historically and at the time of writing, and there's little sign of that changing. You're going to need all the power you can get in that instance. Many, then, experiment with running software on their existing rigs first and renting before taking the deeper financial plunge, especially if they're just starting out. How to build a rig. If you are still keen to own your own equipment, building a rig from scratch is a pertinent option that can save you a little bit of money. If you are looking to build your own dedicated cryptocurrency mining machine from scratch, then the principle is the same as a standard computer, even if the end result is slightly different. You buy a bunch of components, you plug them together. That's heavily simplified. Of course. Note that building your own machine can save you a lot of money over buying a dedicated ASIC mining product. What's more, you can then, once you're done with mining, more easily redeploy the component parts into other computers, something far trickier with an ASIC. Casing. In terms of choosing components, this will provide one of the biggest initial differences. Rather than a closed box, as you'd have with a traditional PC, you'll want to be housing your machine in a rig frame. Because the component parts of a mining rig will be worked extremely hard and Get very hot, a frame allows for better airflow. Your case will be open air, and the components will look like they're out in the open. Be even more careful than usual with coffee cups and drinks. Motherboard. This is the heart of the machine. You need to pick one that can handle multiple GPUs and try not to skimp here. A powerful mining rig will need to support 4 GPUs. Through PCIe connections, ideally more. CPU. Assuming you're going to be using GPU power for your mining, the central processing unit doesn't need to be top of the range. Unlike a traditional PC, you don't need to worry about having too much in the way of hard disk space. RAM, likewise, can be quite modest. You need around 8 GB to be on the safe side, but not much more than that. Power supply. You do need to spend a decent amount here. Look for a supply with 80+ certification, as this means it'll be more efficient and save you a little extra in the long run. You need to be aiming for around 650W 750W, but check before buying, that'll be sufficient. If you're looking to run, say, 8 GPUs, you need to be certain your PSU can handle it. Qto Miner make things incredibly simple. The actual putting together of the rig is pretty straightforward. There are numerous YouTube videos that will take you through the process in detail. This one is sponsored but covers the basics very well. Just give yourself time, space, and anti-static protection. In terms of software, tools such as Qto Miner make things incredibly simple and do the configuration work for you. They're also flexible in allowing you to alter which coins you want to mine. There is a choice to be made between GUI and CLI-driven software, which we're coming to shortly. GPU, which one is best for what? Inevitably, technology continues to evolve, and that makes judging when to jump in and invest in a GPU or multiple GPUs something of a challenge. On a purely technical level, you need to consider the balance between the amount of power a GPU will devour against the processing heft it gives you. It's a simple rule of thumb that you want to minimize the amount of electricity you need, and thus your electricity bill, whilst maximizing the processing capabilities. That way, you get the best possible margin. The fast-moving nature of GPU product releases means it's not worth looking for whatever's at the top of the market at any given time. You pay a disproportionate premium for buying the very best, whereas the saving you make will greatly outweigh the small processing hit you'll take. That said, you're still going to need some heft. Most people favor GPU over CPU for providing the grunt to their rigs, and rightly so. And thus you're ideally going to need 4 or 5 cards with at least 3 GB of RAM apiece, preferably 6 GB. Still, go a few notches down from the top-end options which evolve regularly. Consider the balance. In early 2019, one of the most popular choices was a card based around the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070 GPU. This offered a fine sweet spot between hash rates and energy consumption. Not far behind it was the AMD Radeon RX 580 GPU. Different individual card manufacturers offer slightly different variants based around the core CPU technology, so it's worth shopping around. What you're ultimately looking for is a balance between mega hashes per second, the speed at which the processor can throw potential solutions at the cryptographic problem posed by the specific algorithm, and how much power it consumes expressed in watts. You'll find all of those details freely available online. And it's worth just searching around on a per model basis for the best deals. As a rule of thumb, beginners as of 2019 generally have started with cards in the AMD Radeon R9 line, which are good value and conservative in their power demands. Useful web resources. What to mine? https://whattiomine.com/ A hugely comprehensive crypto coins profit calculator. Crypto Compare, https://www.cryptocompare. com/ up to the second cryptocurrency price and trading information. Bitcoin mining, https://www.bitcoinmining.com/ a useful site for getting your head around the inner workings of Bitcoin mining specifically. Coin Wars, https://www.coinwars.com/cryptocurrency, a multi-currency crypto mining profitability calculator. ASIC versus GUI versus cloud versus CLI. Let's go through a few further options ahead of you. Starting with how they're defined in terms of cryptocurrency mining. ASIC stands for an application-specific integrated circuit. As its name suggests, it's a technology built with specific applications very much in mind. In crypto terms, an ASIC system has been built to mine a particular cryptocurrency that other processes have been stripped away from the technology in favor of a very specific tool to do a very specific job. GUI stands for the graphical user interface. When we talk GUI in the cryptocurrency mining space, we're talking about software. As such, there's a range of software available that puts a user-friendly front end on the process, all designed with making crypto mining as easy as possible to configure and use, irrespective of the user's level of expertise. CLI stands for the command line interface. Thus, software that's operated via a CLI rather than a GUI. This is about stripping away anything unnecessary from the machine that's doing the mining. That instead of loading a software application with a friendly interface to manage the mining, that's all cut out in favor of absolute maximum efficiency. The clear downside is it requires expertise to operate software via a CLI. You need to be entering specific text machine commands into what's usually a very unwelcoming and stark console. The upside is this is more efficient. The downside is that it's much more difficult for new users in particular. Cloud is something we've already talked about. This is about using cloud computing technology to effectively mine cryptocurrency without having to invest in your own mining technology or adding your mining power to that of other users to increase your combined heft. Stick with the GUI as the majority of people do. Let's look at those options, then. ASIC systems are risky. They're hugely effective at what they do. Arguably more effective in terms of pure specific grunt than any other option. But given the cost of such specialized equipment, they're inevitably tailored for the most competitive coins at the moment. This is Bitcoin. The hardware itself is configured for the mining of said coin, and all it takes is a change in the code of the cryptocurrency itself. And an ASIC rig can be redundant overnight. It's designed for one job, based on existing parameters. And if those parameters change, it's gathering dust. Countering that, changes to a coin's codebase are earmarked well in advance, and oftentimes resisted anyway by the crypto community. In terms of GUI versus CLI, some software offers both versions. If you're a beginner and are not familiar with computer code, command consoles and text interfaces, this is an easy decision. Whilst software that uses the command line can be more efficient by how precisely you can direct the computer, we're not talking a dramatic difference. Unless you're absolutely confident, stick with the GUI as the majority of people do. In terms of your cloud